Hi guys, you're welcome once again to our full learning English, and my focus today will be on grammatical name and function with a special attention on the question on grammatical name and function from the just concluded English language Waec question. Now the reason for this is that there has been back and forth arguments and diverging opinions concerning what is the grammatical name, what's the correct grammatical name and correct grammatical function for this question. So, this is my focus for today. So let's look at the question. From what you can see on the board, I've decided to write the whole sentence from the beginning to where the underlined expression ends. So we have what I did not know, which the interviewer brought to light, was that she indeed studied agriculture in the university. So if you look at this sentence, we have the underlined expression, which is that she indeed studied agriculture in the university. But first, let's get to know what grammatical names and functions are. Grammatical names are names given to words, phrases, and clauses in a sentence or in a sentence structure. Then the function, the grammatical function, means the function performed by this particular name, by this particular word, phrase, or clause. So likewise, we have it on the board, or in this question, we have a particular expression. So we want to identify whether it's a word, a phrase, or a clause before we talk about the function. So if you look at this expression, first, it's not a word because it's more than one. Now, is it a phrase? From my own perspective, I think it's not a phrase. First, it has a finite verb. It has a finite verb, so it's not a phrase. So is it a clause? Absolutely, this is a clause. But what type of clause? Because concerning grammatical names and functions, you must be able to state specifically the type of clause that is involved before you state the function. So this is a clause, okay? But what type of clause? For us to get a grammatical name. First, we have different types of clauses in English language. We have noun clauses, we have adjectival clauses, and we have adverbial clauses. To easily understand all of these clauses and to differentiate between or amongst these clauses, first, students must identify the markers. Markers are just words that precede or that introduce a particular expression, a particular clause. These words will definitely tell you whether a clause is a noun clause or an adjectival clause or an adverbial clause. So when you look at this sentence, the grammatical name or this expression, the grammatical name is a noun clause. First, we have established the fact that this is a clause. But apart from that, it is also a noun clause. Why is it a noun clause? First, it has the marker that. But you also want to tell me, or some of you would like to say that relative clauses also start with markers like that, who, which, and what. I'm going to come back to that later. But first, the expression here, the grammatical name. The grammatical name is a noun clause. And one of the reasons why it's a noun clause, first is a clause because it has a finite verb, and apart from that, it has a marker, that. So this makes it a noun clause. Other markers for noun clauses are who, whichever, whatever, whatsoever, that, and so on and so forth. So also identify other examples of noun clause. We have another noun clause in the whole sentence, and this is another noun clause because it starts with what I didn't know. And apart from that, it also has a finite verb. So when you see a clause introduced by any of these, you know that it's a what? A noun clause. But apart from this, how do you differentiate between a noun clause that starts with that and a noun and a relative clause that also starts with that? Very simple. For you to differentiate between both, for a noun clause that starts with that, it is always preceded by a verb. It is always preceded by what? A verb. But for relative clauses, they are always preceded by a noun or a pronoun. Can I repeat that? They are always preceded by a noun or a pronoun. So with this, you should be able to easily identify or differentiate between a noun clause and a relative clause. And don't forget the markers for relative clause is what I've just written on the board: that, whatsoever, whatever, who, and which, have. Now let's move on to the grammatical function. For a noun clause, a noun phrase and a noun, and a pronoun, they all share the same grammatical functions like subject of the verb, object of the verb, subject, complement, and so on and so forth. So what's the grammatical function for this? The grammatical function for this underlined word that she did study agriculture in university is a subject complement. Now, what's a subject complement? A complement in a sentence refers to the subject or it refers to an object. If a complement refers to the subject, it's a subject complement. If it refers to the object, it's an object complement. Another thing about the complement is that it makes a reference to the subject. In this case, we have the subject, which is what I didn't know, which the interviewer brought to light, was that she indeed studied agriculture in the university. So to answer the question of complement, the complement makes reference back to what? The subject. And how do I know this? If I ask the question, what is that thing I did not know? What is that thing I did not know? What I did not know is that she indeed studied agriculture in the university. So this expression is making a reference to what? To the subject of the sentence. Don't forget, a complement makes reference to the word subject or the word object. Another good example is this. The boy is my son. If I underline this is a noun phrase, the grammatical name. But what about the function? It's a subject complement. Why is it subject complement? It makes reference to the boy, which is the subject of the sentence. Another thing is that both phrases are linked by or are connected by a linking verb. They are connected by what? A linking verb, as you can see. So if you look at this, you also discover that we have a linking verb here, connecting the subject complement with the subject of this sentence. We have a linking verb here. So I can say my son is the boy. The same way I can say that she indeed studied agriculture in the university was what I did not know, which the interviewer brought to light. And what am I trying to say? I can take the subject complement back to the subject and bring this back to this position. And that is what subject complement is all about. So here you have it. The correct answer for this underlined expression is noun clause. First, it's a clause because it has a finite verb. And second, it's a noun clause because it has a marker. That, and third, it is preceded by what? By a verb. All these three things, or these three factors, make this underlined expression a noun clause. Why is it a subject complement? It's a subject complement because it refers back to the subject of the sentence, which is what I did not know. So we've come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot. Thanks for watching. Bye.